Hi friends, and welcome to this twofold video experience. If you are part of my St. Paul's family, then welcome to your long-promised Praying in Color workshop session. This was supposed to happen before we had a pandemic, but then we had a pandemic. So here we are. For those of you coming to me from the joyful new newsletter experience, Wiggles and Wonder, welcome. I'm Bird, and as I said, today we are going to be talking about Praying in Color, which is a wonderful book and process by Sybil MacBeth. Part of what I love about Praying in Color is that it's an excellent prayer activity for all ages, and it's great if you're the kind of person who says, but I don't really know how to pray. If you have a hard time sitting with the silence, if you feel like you can't find the right words, or you just are, struggle to carve out time for prayer in your daily life, this is a really excellent practice for remedying that situation. For those who have a hard time sitting still, who just need kind of a tactile experience to focus their attention, this could be the thing that is the answer to your prayer needs. So for the Praying in Color method, you don't need anything special. You don't need any particular artistic skills. All you need is some blank paper and some different colored pens. If you could see the nightmare that is my desk right now, I have taken this as an excuse to get out all of the pens. But that's just how I roll. So there are several different ways that you can approach Praying in Color, but a few of them are, I would say, the most common and can provide really helpful structure. So first, perhaps the simplest version of Praying in Color is simply to use a pre-drawn set of shapes, like so. So for each shape, what you want to do is place either a written or drawn representation of someone or something you wish to pray for. So you can do this as a list of people in your life, a list of traits you would like to encourage, a list of worries that you want to address to God. Any of these can make up the body of your Praying in Color content. So the shapes provide kind of abstract structure, and then you build from there. Another way that you can approach this is by creating a pictorial representation of what you want to pray for. So in this case, and I think this can be really helpful if you're trying to give children a kind of self-directed prayer experience. In this case, I've drawn an image of a church, and you can fill in each part of it someone or something that you would like to pray for, and then decorate it. Another way that you can approach this is by starting with kind of your address to God. So you can center that on the page, and then build out your petitions around that central address. But the fundamental idea is that as you sort of create around the subjects of your prayer life, that you have an opportunity to meditate on each of those individuals or topics. So rather than just writing down a name or writing down a concern, you'll write it down and then you'll embellish it, you'll add decorations, and as you're doing that, you're taking that time to meditate on that person or that concern, to talk to God, to find a way to focus your attention. Because it's one thing to list off a set of concerns or a set of people that you want to pray for, but it's another thing to really spend time with them in your mind and in your heart and in conversation with God. So what does this look like when it's all done? I made an example here with some different people, some different groups, all fully decorated. So here's one of my praying in color pages. And so as you write each person's name, then you have a time to decorate, to create sort of space around them that is your time tending to them, kind of tending to a prayer garden of sorts, and paying attention to your hopes and prayers for them. So at a time where I think many of us are looking for ways to deepen our prayer lives, but are also feeling sort of without direction and overwhelmed by how many concerns are weighing on our hearts, I think this is a good way to set those things outside of us, to address them to God, and to be able to carry them with us. This is a thing that the Praying in Color text suggests, is that once you've created your page, that you can fold it up, you can take it with you. It's something that you can carry with you throughout the week, or, hang on your refrigerator, since most of us aren't getting out of the house much right now. And that you can return to each day, and you can embellish it some more. You can trace over those patterns with your fingertips or just in your mind. And it gives you the tools you need to return to prayer for several days. And then you can do it again with new prayer concerns, with a new approach, with a new group of people, however you wish to come to the page. Now, there are actually several Praying in Color books. The one I showed you at the beginning is the primary Praying in Color book, but there's actually a special book for children that provides some pre-drawn outlines that they can use. I always recommend that if you're working with children, that you also can just encourage them to draw pictures of the people or things they want to pray for. That way this becomes accessible even to pre-literate children. And of course, adults are free to approach it that way as well. Whatever allows you to feel like you are connecting with who or what you're praying for, that works in this form. There is no right way. That's sort of what sets it apart from our litany of prayers that we typically say. Those prayers are beautiful, they're rich in meaning, but often we're skirting right along the surface of what we want to say to God, because we're given the words, but we don't always have a way into those words. I think now more than ever, as we are so persistently saying about so many things, is a good time to try this practice, to see if it helps you step away from sort of the wearisome stress of this moment. We can't make what's going on around us stop, but we can find new ways to pray for the world and to look for renewal around us and inside of us. And I think Praying in Color can return some of that brightness that we're looking for. It's in the name. And there's kind of a lot of, for me, there's a lot of joy in pulling out all my markers and spending a little time just deep in those patterns and in a sort of joyful, playful prayer, as godly play philosophy takes as its core, play guides us. And so by relinquishing some of the stiffness of the prayers that we are taught for a more open form, we might discover something new. I hope that you will give this a try, that you will show me how your praying in color experience goes, that you'll tell me how it felt, and that if it works, that you'll keep trying it. I've been intermittently using this practice for years as a way to settle my thoughts and come to a new kind of attention. And I think that it's an especially hard time to find that center. I'm not a person who is great at traditional meditation. I don't sit still super well, but coming to the page this way, coming to prayer this way, is a really different experience. So, however you have come to this video, however you've come to this experience, I wish you well, I wish you wellness, and I hope that you will join me again to find even more ways to pray and connect, even as we live with a new kind of disconnection. Be well, walk in love,